Hey everybody, welcome to another game on Khaldor.tv. My name is Khaldor, of course, and I'm your commentator for this game. Currently we're looking at the Terran versus Protoss. The last few matches that I commentated were a little bit Zerg dominated. Now we have a new matchup. It's going to be a Terran versus Protoss. And both these players have barcode IDs, but I still can tell you a little bit about them. Starting to the bottom right is Complexity's QXC. So he has a barcode ID in this game, but I can assure you that this is the player who we see on screen right now in blue. And to the top left on Belshir Vestige, the map, is a Protoss player, also barcode player. I don't know exactly who that is, but I can at least tell you that he's a Korean player and he is in a team. You can see that to the top left with the Hangul letters. It's called Terranplayer, which basically means Terran is fucking imbalanced. So I'm not quite sure if he's too happy that he's meeting a Terran player on ladder right now and is up against QXC, who's one of the strongest Terrans that we have on the US server, but it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting match. It's a little bit of a shorter game today. MLG is on, as you guys might know, so I'm going to watch the stream later on, but I still wanted to upload one video for you. So let's see a little bit what's going on in this matchup, what the two players are up to here. We are still in Heart of the Swarm, so everything is new, everything is exciting, we see new units, we see new strategies, new timings. It's pretty awesome. Currently with the gateway opening here for our Protoss player, and we have him, I'm going to call him Paul. This is Paul the Protoss. He's going into a gateway and then right into gas, whereas to the bottom right we currently see an opening with a refinery for QXC. So also in Heart of the Swarm, it's still true that you have several ways of opening into the match. You can either go for attack, which will require you to go into a refinery build, which we see from QXC here, or you can just decide to go into a gas expand, usually going into the barracks and then the command center, if you don't want to start out things pretty greedy and go into a CC first right away. So let's see what exactly QXC has on his sleeves in this game, but the Terran player will definitely have a bit of a master plan. QXC, a very technical player, a player who has a great mindset when it comes to playing in general. He's pretty famous these days for a bit of a rage video that was on Reddit where he smashed one of his keyboards. The one thing, after a loss of course, after he was pretty annoyed with how the match went, but the one thing that really amazed me, I'm not quite sure if you saw the clip, it was quite incredible to see that he, even though he lost and he was raging like crazy, he typed GG at the end of the game, congratulated his opponent to the victory, and then you can see him just in camera just smashing his keyboard with his fist. It was pretty insane. Another clip shows him doing 25, my bad, I apologize, one-arm push-ups. That was also like pretty fun, and yeah, Reddit is all over those videos these days. At least the StarCraft 2 subreddit. Currently starting off with the Mothership Core that we see for Paul the Protoss, and he is, with the Mothership Core, able to put a little bit of aggression onto QXC. You can already see him with the Chrono Boosts here on the gateway, so this indicates that he wants to be aggressive. He doesn't use the Chrono Boost solely on his Nexus to get more probes out here. We already have him with a double assimilator, gives him a lot of gas for the follow-up, but for now he just can put a lot of aggression on the QXC. Also here with the Zealot here present at the bottom right, has one of the Stalkers in position too, and with the second Stalker and the Mothership Core, he can do quite a lot here. QXC is starting things off a little bit like MVP does with the reactor, and also the factory right after that. You can really see the Terran player is currently forced to have this SCVs at the front, which exposes them, and he needs to be quite careful that he doesn't lose them. Repairs the SMB here now as well, but with the Mothership Core that arrives at the scene of the crime, this is a little bit too much of DPS. Still the wall holds, and maybe a little bit of a premature use of the time warp here, only taking down one Marine, but he kills another SCV, so this is a lot of aggression coming out of the Terran player, sorry, the Protoss player. Paul is going all out with two Stalkers, the Zealot at the front. QXC forced to use all his SCVs to hold the wall, make sure that the Zealots can't go in, but finally the tank is out, and this is what he was waiting for all along. Took care of his opponent's Zealot right away, and now also pressuring the Stalkers, as you can see, but the Mothership Core 5 kills, and especially the Marines are really pressured here. So QXC holds, pulls a little bit of a Tarzan here, can now use the Siege mode, and as a side note, Siege mode does not require you to research it at the Tech Lab anymore. So as of now, in Heart of the Swarm, you just have to build the Siege tank. You still need the Tech Lab for that, but then you can Siege up right away. The Siege mode is already included. But a really aggressive opening here by Paul. Our Protoss player is really going all out with this. Very much, well, a lot of units at the front, a lot of the Chrono Boosts used in the gateway, having the Zealot out very fast, going for 2 double Stalker, and having the Mothership Core, which does not only grant him the high ground vision, but can also help him out very much against those Marines that we could see here. So 4 workers killed by Paul. Gives him a decent position in the game right now. And back... Sorry for that hiccup. Back home, as you can see, with a double gas, he also went into additional tech. We have right now a Stargate, it's currently being built. He's also adding another one, so double Stargate builds here for the Protoss player, who's also going into an expansion. So the idea that he has here is contain QXC for as long as possible, try to just push him back, be aggressive, and behind all of that, expand and go for a very gas-intensive tech, which is exactly why we saw earlier him going for the double assimilator. And he did not really build a lot of units. I mean, we still have those 2 stalkers on the unit counting station. You also have currently 2 sentries. That's just a bit of a precaution for him. He wants to have those force fields ready so he can stop the ramp, that he can stop the Terranplayer. But QXC, he doesn't even think of going into an expansion at this point. He wants to go for 1 base play, and he wants to be aggressive. With the siege tanks, he already has 3 of them. He can move out, can siege up, try to be aggressive here, and he's even going into Widow Mines. So the idea for him is really to put a lot of aggression on his opponent. And at this point in the game, Paul doesn't really have anything that he can detect with. He doesn't have, like, an Oracle out there that he can use for Envision. He also doesn't have robotics. So this could be really difficult for him to deal with. Nice pickup here on the siege tanks, though. You have the Nexus Cannon already being used with the Mothership Core, so he really wants to make sure that he can hold this push off. Photon Overcharge has been used, but you can already see that QXC is not done just yet. He had to move out of range a little bit. He lost one of the siege tanks because the Phoenixes just swooped in, used the Graviton Beam, and then picked off the tank. But now we have the first bunker being built for QXC. Widow Mines are walking across the map. They will be very difficult to deal with for our Protoss player. He's already going in double Oracle and can use Envision, can also work against those Marines, but this is not an easy challenge. So far, no combat shield. Here comes the double Graviton Beam. The Protoss player immediately moving in. Here comes the Oracle, using his Pulsar Beam against those Marines, but the siege tanks, they are still in the game, and suddenly those Phoenixes don't have enough energy anymore to go for the Graviton Beam. All those gateway units very much exposed. And we even have a repair on the Widow Mine that has been used quite successfully by QXC to make sure that this aggression or this move out by the Protoss player is not successful. So Paul very much contained at this point. Not a lot of Marines left, which is why he has to use the speed upgrade, the Medivac boost on the afterburner on the Medivac to get it into safety. Repairs it with a double SCV. Really love that move by QXC, but the Widow Mine is alone give Paul really a tough time, and he knows it. There we go again. Another Widow Mine shot goes off. One shots the Stalker. The siege tank doing a lot of damage here. And at home, QXC adding his command center, going just into additional economy, wants to catch up with his opponent, because by now, of course, he realized that our Protoss is on 2 bases, is a bit in the lead when it comes to the income. 47 harvesters against 33, so Paul very much ahead when it comes down to the economy. But this is definitely a position where we have a very aggressive position for QXC just in general. He's very much at the base of his opponent, trying to put on pressure here, and as soon as he has additional units over here, he can do quite a bit. Once again, the Widow Mines, very important here. The Phoenixes can't really deal with them. Don't get one-shotted at this point, but taking a lot of damage by those hits. And QXC is now making sure that he has more and more Widow Mines already on the map. 8 in total, is going into additional tech. We have him with quite a heavy economy now as well, now that his second orbital is done and he's saturating his second mineral line. But here go those Widow Mines in the main base, thanks to the Medivac, and this could be devastating. This is a great position, and BAM! In your face, kills the wrong one with a better targeted shot to the right. He could have taken out all these units, but still, it's a nuisance for his opponent to deal with all those Widow Mines. Even a few Vikings now joining the battle, trying to zone out those Void Rays. So a very tough position for a Protoss player to deal with. He just has to pay attention to so many positions at once. Especially this one is very difficult to deal with. He can't really mine. And now the cooldown will be ready in just a second. He can take down so many units now. And here comes the shot. And once again, doesn't get a single kill because he tries to target the one probe that is currently in the assimilator. Really annoying. And with the Envision upgrade skill that has been used by the Oracle, he now is in a position where he can take down both the Widow Mines. So the drop on the main base not really all that successful. A little bit unlucky here for QXC, could have done a lot more damage, at least denied mining for a long time. So a very strategical game that we currently see, with still this tough position that Paul is finally trying to break. He's moving in, taking a lot of shots of those Widow Mines. We still have the siege tank at the back,
And also the Mirror turret's doing a lot of damage against the Void Rays. Bam, 2 of them are down, and the third one also dies. Could have been done a little bit better by the Protoss. He's losing a lot here, but he at least is able to break through the contain. Loses a lot of units on the other hand. Even another Stalker going down to the Widow Mine, and you can really see that with the position that we have now, QXC was able to completely equalize the match. He's actually even a little bit ahead. The reason being is, he is on 2 bases, as is his opponent, both of them on a very similar worker count, which is usually not what the Protoss player wants, because the Terran has the additional mules. In this case, we have a decent 2-base saturation for both players, but the mules quite significant in this scenario. The bigger problem is with the upgrades. We already have the +1 attack upgrade for QXC, and we have Stimpack. He's going into the armor upgrade. He's even adding the armory so that he can access +2/+2, and he also has combat shield on his way. He has stim. He's going just into the tech a little bit faster than his opponent. Now the double forge being added for our Protoss, but this is really a little bit tough. He wants to be the one who goes into an aggressive mode right now though. And we have still all those Widow Mines, as well as a bunker at the front. And QXC, of course, trying to bait his opponent a little bit in the range. Here comes the Oracle, though, with the Envision skill. And Envision detects Cloak, Bow, and hallucinated units, as you can see on the tooltip here. So this is one of the things that you can activate, and then you will be able to spot these Widow Mines. So very important for a Protoss player that doesn't have a robotics. And he really wants to go in. Now with the prismatic alignment, the overcharge upgrade for the Void Rays, he can do a lot of damage, especially against those bunkers and also against the Marauders. But here come the Widow Mines doing a little bit of damage, and QXC still has a lot of units available. Combat Shield isn't ready just yet, but he's already on 1-1, whereas the Protoss doesn't have a single upgrade. And now QXC just moving in right now, trying to take down as much as possible. The Oracle is still alive, but now finally being taken down by the Marines. And the gateway units, they are on the run. QXC with a massive lead in economy right now. This really worked out well for him. Even making sure that he's adding another unit to his composition. We have the Hellbat now here. Can do a lot of damage at close range against Stalkers and of course also against the Zealots. So really good army composition now for QXC. Couple of Vikings to zone out everything that is just in the air for Paul the Protoss. Especially, of course, the Oracles and the Void Rays, but with all those medivacs and this huge bioforce on the ground with decent upgrades, this is a great position for QXC to be in. He has a good economy, he has a very strong army, +2/+2 now on the way, whereas the Protoss is just now researching 1-1, so a very dire situation for Paul, even though at the beginning it didn't look too bad for him at all. His aggression worked quite well. The double Stalker Zealot aggression with the Mothership was really good, but the contain gave him a lot of trouble, especially since when he tried to break through, he lost so many units. And it could have been worse. I mean, the main base drop with the Widow Mines didn't do the damage that QXC was hoping for, but now he's doing quite a lot, moving in with another stim, trying to take down the Protoss player, moving in right away to the top left. He even has all those medivacs readily available to heal hit points, and also this flank to the right side just can't do too much. A 30 supply lead for QXC still. And don't forget that by now, the minerals in the main base get quite scarce. So we don't really have a lot of an economy for the Protoss player anymore. Whereas the Terran takes already another base to the bottom left. Was just harassed by 1 or 2 units. We missed that a little bit, but you might have caught it on the minimap. Not too much, just a small warp in with the Zealots from the pylon here. But with the units that were already in position, was not a big deal for QXC to deal with this. In total, especially when he repaired earlier, he lost 9 harvesters, but right now at the bottom didn't take too many losses at the worker force there. Workers killed for both of them exactly the same. Remember, could have been much worse for the for the Protoss player if those Widow Mines that were buried in the main base would have targeted the clustered up harvesters instead of the ones that were trying to go into the assimilator. But as it is, QXC completely on a roll now. Going into +3/+3, he doesn't miss a beat with his macro here. He's looking really strong, and the Protoss is just trying to catch up, trying to get this 3rd base. He knows, of course, that his opponent is already on 3, but he has to defend first, and this is not going to be easy. The Colossus, without the range upgrade just yet, didn't even start to research it. We don't really have medivacs in here, so this is a big plus for the Protoss player, but QXC has just such a dominant force, is stimming through. The medivacs are healing everything. There are way too many Marauders. They push not only the gateway units back, but now pressure the Colossi as well. The first one down, the second one dead. Well played, and GG. QXC is successful in this game.
our first Terran versus Protoss, and I was sometimes a little bit sidetracked, trying to explain to you a few of the new abilities, but I still think we had a pretty decent matchup going on here. A lot of back and forth action. QXC with a great play, good master plan, was a little bit delayed to by the aggression that the Protoss player showed in the early stages of the match, but a really cool game. If you're a Terran fan and if you like, QXC in general, make sure that you also add him on Twitter. Twitter is basically the social media tool that is used throughout esports. At Twitter he's COL_QXC. Also make sure that you add myself at Khaldor. And I really hope that you enjoyed the match. Leave me a comment on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I see you guys next time, probably tomorrow. Have a couple of really good matches, really good replays. Had a few matches sent to me by players like... I actually have a few more games from QXC, really exciting matches. Had a couple of games that feature players like Wydra, Moonglade, and also a few Koreans. So I'll try to send you another set of matches to YouTube very soon. Well, see you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching.